Legacy. Jody Keith playing lands. Actually, and you saw Aaron Barich, the pickup for the team. Infect player here. That is generally, that can be a tougher one on Infect.
There's a lot of powerful stuff happening in the lands deck. It's really tough to beat Maze of Ith with an Infect deck.
Yeah, Maze of Ith is hard. Also, Infect is a creature light deck.
Punishing Fire, pretty good.
Yeah, it's hard to get Inkmoth to work against lands. In the middle seat, Green White Company from Todd Stevens. Emma moving to Modern. She's playing Lantern Control. But we'll start here. Tom Ross on the draw, looks like Foreboding Ruins into Bomat Courier attacks.
The nut draw.
Selfless Spirit for JD, and she's on a 6-card hand. Selfless Spirit I actually don't care for very much in this matchup. The numbers are in the wrong order.
Not too into trading my Bomat Courier on Selfless Spirit.
Yeah. Tom,
or rather the other way around.
More cards under Bomat Couriers. And look, not even looking at the cards, just exiles them both. And this is something I love about Tom here. So he put both those cards without looking at them under the Bomat Couriers, traded one away, still hasn't looked at them.
Do you get to look at them?
Oh, you don't get to look at them? Okay, well then he's not. Then even better because he's playing by the rules.
Yeah, he's one of them rule-abiding players, which I really admire about him as well.
Yeah, that's unlike me who just wants to savagely cheat with my cards. All right. How good on him. Bygone Bishop attempting to stabilize for Jadine, but for Tom, on-crop Crasher, Exert, no blocks, and swings in for 4 more.
You almost never see Crasher attack without exerting, but this is a pretty good addition to this deck for sure. In face of the Bishop, you get to bash through, though it will only be every other turn because of the Exert.
So Tom right now, yeah, he's turning his tapped creatures upside down to show Exert. We'll try to put an actual Exert on it. Now, unexerted is the on-crop Crasher. Yeah, that one now gone. It was exerted.
Showed up just in time to be irrelevant. Personally, I don't like using those markers when I'm playing games. I like to remember the stuff.
Yeah, okay. I just like to know.
Yeah, you force your opponent to know. I mean, I'm not saying, like, you untap them. I'm saying you know they might think you have an extra attacker.
I need to pause here because this is where Tom Ross is doing Tom Ross things. Okay, you untapped with 4 mana, just swung Bomat Courier into Jadine's board.
Yeah. What you got? Double built to smash.
She's going to double block. Here's 1 built to smash. Kills Bygone Bishop. That's still a 2-for-1.
Indeed. Double block smart on Jadine's part there.
So with how this was played, these Bomat Couriers were actually just Raging Goblins.
Yes. Jadine
love it.
At
love
12,
it.
though.
Scrap Heap Scrounger, the follow-up. Tom has played 2 Sun-Scorched Deserts, helping the cause. It shows that Tom really wanted to get that Bishop off the table.
Yes.
Well, what I was looking at is if he had the option to wait a turn, exert, make one of those creatures not block, then build to smash through the one that does block. Tom's actually passing that up just to trade right now.
And that's this kind of play that can work on a lower caliber player. They'll just single block, you push through a lot of damage, but Jadine was having none of it. One for the double block.
Yeah, I don't know that he was trying to, get his opponent there. I think it's actually just was really prioritizing Bishop.
Sure.
On-crop Crasher will exert. Scrounger will swing. This is a swing for 6, but here's Spell Queller from Jadine. That will block the Crasher. She takes 3, goes to 9.
Jadine's got to get something going pretty quick here.
2 Chandra Torch of Defiances in Tom's hand. He'll cast 1, plus it up. Actually, no, kill Hanvir Militia Captain.
He's got backup Chandra. No reason to plus. Keep that board advantage.
I thought it was just going to be burn.
Well, if it becomes burn, it's going to survive.
And Jadine just says go. Yeah, that absolutely will. Built to smash the draw in Tom's hand. Let's see what Chandra finds. This might be dead this turn.
Yeah, it's already 6 just with Scrounger built to smash, assuming nothing else happens.
8 from Chandra. Can plus it and use the not cast the card.
And if that's all working, cast the other Chandra plus that one too. Braid, no targets for that. So that plus on Chandra is going to shock Jadine.
Yeah, she goes to 7. Scrounger puts her to 4.
Tom's not going to get greedy, though.
Well, no, he doesn't need to build a smash. Next turn, he can plus Chandra, play Chandra.
Yep.
And that works. Here's Spell Queller from Jadine that will attack. It's got to attack down the Planeswalker.
Yeah, from 4, it's tough to leave Tom with the Chandra here.
Angel of Invention. That means she's dead, I think. We'll see. Says go. Makes
the smash
servo.
tramples for a lot.
Yeah, now Angel does have lifelink, but I don't know that that matters. We'll see. Here's Chandra Torch of Defiance. It goes and kills the Angel Invention. Scrounger swings at 3/3 and tramples, and that is going to be game.
Yep, there you see it not mattering because the Angel did not survive to combat.
Right. So Tom Ross on Mono Red Aggro gets game 1 here. First game to be finished. Goes over the team of Keith, Stevens, and Ross.
I like this build of red a lot more than what we saw last weekend.
Yeah, I like the focus of it, and I like that Tom Ross is playing it.
Yeah, but it's not a mishmash of 1-drops and 4-drops. Tom picked a lane, and it looks like the correct one.
All right, well, let's look at the sideboards. Starting on Tom Ross's side, 3 Blazing Volley, 2 Aethersphere Harvester, 2 Harsh Mentor, 2 Hanweir Garrison, an Invigorated Rampage, a Chandra's Defeat, a Magma Spray, an Eldrazi Obligator, the third copy of Chandra Torch of Defiance, and then a copy of Kari Zev's Expertise. That's the Threaten with Expertise.
So the major consideration when sideboarding against the Monument deck is that there's going to be a lot of games where they go very wide.
Yeah, I have to think that first card,
yes.
The reason it's in his deck is because of this matchup.
Right, Blazing Wally will just destroy all the X1 creatures and tokens. That's going to pay off there. You can use Hanweir Garrison to try to keep up on tokens as well, and then Invigorated Rampage is another way to punch through. It's kind of like an additional build to smash, so it also works on the red creatures, not just the artifacts. Aethersphere Harvester is fine. You can fly over. There's a decent amount of flyers out of Jadine's deck. That one I'm more lukewarm on, but the Blazing Volley, certainly the big pickup. Invigorated Rampage to punch through as well, and probably the Garrison. Certainly on the play you want Garrison. On the draw, though, it's less good, but probably still relevant.
On Jadine's side, she has 3 Gideons, 3 Negates, 2 copies of Dusk Dawn. She's actually not playing any Dusk Dawn in the main deck this weekend. So these are the only 2 in her 75. 2 Fragmentize, 2 Avacens, 2 Fairgrounds Warden, and an Invasive Surgery. Against a deck that's low to the ground, I'm not sure how many of these help.
No, very, very little in the way of help here, actually. In fact, Fairgrounds Warden is a removal spell, but it costs 3 mana. Far from ideal. It's better than some of the cards in the main deck. You can go for Gideon and Avacyn as blockers as well, but you have to maintain a lower mana curve here.
Right, and I think for that reason, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw her board in actually negate in this matchup. She has some Metallic Rebukes in the main. There's plenty of stuff to negate in Tom's deck, and the card costs 2.
Sure.
Though it's not great.
I wouldn't want a bunch of them. It's kind of maybe one in the scenario, I believe. You have to have the creature to make the combat matter in the first place.
All right, well, players see Tom Ross still looking over his sideboard here. Now, one thing that you can find with Star City games, coming up in Ixalan, looking forward to the next set, we now, as you know, we always have our pre-release playmats. I'd like to tell you about our newest one coming up at the Ixalan pre-release. It's a good one.
Say hello to the newest member of the StarCityGames.com pre-release exclusive creature collection, the Jolly Rover. Illustrated by fan favorite Andrea Radek, this motley crew is ready to set sail. Want this limited edition playmat at your pre-release? Have your local store contact StarCityGames.com by August 7th to get signed up. Visit go.starcitygames.com/pre-release to learn how to make your pre-release brave the unknown with the Jolly Rover.
I would be happy to join the crew of a dog pirate.
I always think of a dog that he'd be like the first mate on a boat.
Yeah, they
just
are known
like
for their loyalty.
Yeah. The cat would want to be a captain.
No, the cat would want to sleep in the below decks.
Or that. You have like a bird captain. They like to talk.
That is true.
There you go.
Be a bit of a role reversal from a standard pirate scenario where the captain has a parrot.
Yeah, the parrot just would be the captain.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's got a lot of
that.
first-hand experience, It's seen a lot of captaining happen.
So Tom wins game 1. In the modern match, Emma Handy on Lantern. picks up a game for her team. Keeps things even here. So Tom Ross mentioned he had that invitational win with Boss Sly, one of his 2 wins that year. Back-to-back own with Infect for Tom Ross, now living in Roanoke, but as mentioned, one of the Bayou boys here, originally from Louisiana. 16 open top 8s with 5 wins. We had four invitational top 8s with 2 wins in a row. Shows a lot of range in modern formats, but really his bread and butter are these attack decks.
Yes. Yeah, very, very good at the beat down role, that is for sure. And really good at video games as well. Aspires to buy an NBA Jam arcade. For stories of
game?
Tom Ross beating people at N64 games with his feet.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm just thinking about the logistics of that.
Not a particularly marketable skill, but I'm impressed.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, that controller's not complicated. You could do it. You could do it.
It's hard to access the Z button.
It's like with the once controllers start having 2 joysticks, that's when that's when it's going to be hard.
I think it's just a matter of specifically the Z button being on the underside of the controller.
Yeah, you'd have to rebind that key or or just not use it.
Right. I honestly don't know how you would go about learning something like that. I guess you just put your feet on the controller, just start pressing buttons.
Trying.
Got to be pretty bored, I think.
And you get really good at a game. That's one of the things. You start finding ways to handicap yourself.
Right.
Game 1 in Legacy goes to Jody Keith. Lands up a game now on Infect.
There's a lot to like from the Lands deck against Infect.
Yeah, that seems like a good matchup. It puts pressure on Jadine in this matchup in Standard.
Yes.
She's on a 6-card hand again. Consults with teammates here on it.
Emma's matchup against Green-White should be reasonable. There are some really powerful sideboard cards that Todd can have, though.
Yeah, but you're right. In the idea of protect the ensnaring bridge, I would think the density of must-answer cards in Todd's deck is manageable.
Pretty low. Pretty low. Post sideboard, can expect some Stony Silences. Those can complicate things.
Right. He's going to be banking on some high-impact sideboard cards. In the main, his deck tends to be like mostly creatures with a few Path to Exiles. That's not great against Lantern.
Right. Yeah, Path pretty poor there. Creatures that attack and block, not doing too much. Noble Hierarch, probably the best creature there. So you're going to attack through a bridge. And real unfortunate news for JD in this match. As you said, it is likely to matter. Going through a lot of mulligans.
Yeah, she's on 5. You can look at Aaron's deck to win the match in Legacy. Post sideboard, usually decks improve against lands. The land sideboard not particularly robust, as they're pretty limited in what they can actually play.
Right.
Jadine's kept on 5. It's going to start our game. No one drop this game for Tom. As Jadine, some tapped duels. Damage will start with a turn 2 Earthshaker Kenra from Tom Ross.
This card's really been impressive out of Hour of Devastation. In the face of blockers, you can punch through some damage, and the Eternalize ability tends to come up. Kind of a mana sink for when you get flooded in these decks.
Militia Captain for Jadine. Tom is actually missing his 3rd land. Now, it's the colorless one.
Yeah,
he has a
just
desert.
on a mountain.
Kenra trades with Militia Captain, and look at how Tom plays this. He had 2 Magma Sprays in hands and quickly offers a trade. One of the things I really like about watching him play these red decks are his pacing here. Like, he wanted that trade, but he had to decide that very quickly to not let on that he had Magma Sprays.
Right. Makes the play as if it's the only one available to him.
Yeah, and to do that, you really have to make these snap decisions.
Yeah, and using the Magma Sprays to make sure you're able to get a couple attacks in with this Garrison here, that matters a lot more than the Kenra.
Yeah, here's another Earthshaker Kenra. No blocks for the Thraben Inspector. Swing with 2 creatures. Move, get some humans into play. Big hit, it's for 6.
Sometimes you see some Hanvir battlements in these decks. Tom doesn't have that one, so you won't be seeing any transformation here. But the Garrison does plenty of work on its own.
Yeah, and you see it leaves up 2 mountains with 2 magma sprays in hand.
Yeah, Tom firmly in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, that swing was for 6. The next one could be for 8.
Yeah, with no removal spell, it just is. Tom could add some haste power to that as well.
Yeah, JD will be looking for something like Stasis Snare. She'll play Thalia, and that should get one of the magma sprays.
Yep, that's a pretty good target for that.
He has Blazing Volley in hand as well.
This is not the Blazing Volley game, but no. Jadine's Mulligan's doing her no favors here.
Magma sprays away the Thalia is fine. Thinks about the second magma spray, but now untaps. Another Ramonat Ruins in play.
Access to a good amount of reach.
Yeah, this should be... This should look good.
Yep, there goes the magma spray. Tech coming through for 8.
Puts Jadine down to 3. And that is going to do it. Tom Ross, 2-0. Mono red looking great against white blue. Both those games, Jadine not keeping a 7 in either of them, but one of the draws to playing mono red is how good you are against any sort of mulligan.
Right. Yeah, the strength of the Monument deck really comes from those games where you can get the turn 3 Catcher's Monument, kind of pull ahead and stay ahead. You know, that draw did not present itself for Jade in that match, and the mono red aggro deck does a great job of putting the Monument deck on the back foot anyway. So
we're going to move over to the Legacy match, where now Aaron Barich is going to have to work his way out of a 1-0 deficit. Him keeping a 7, looks like Jody going to 6, so we actually are going to get the whole game here.
The lands deck does mulligan a decent amount.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't when you're not a deck that draws a card for turn very often. Mulligans don't matter as much because that's not what your deck's doing.
Right. Once you start dredging with your life from the loam, that's the sweet spot. It's really similar to just full-on dredge decks in that regard.
Yeah, if Jody's hand is, you know, fetch land, Mox Diamond, life from the loam, whatever,
at least
that's better than most 7s.
At least one more land.
Okay, yeah, we need one more land in there. Jody keeping on 6. So for Aaron, he will start on Basic Forest and Noble Hierarch.
The Judge Foil Old Frame Noble Hierarch. This is a nice Magic card.
All right, well, I was talking about here's Mox Diamond. You see at least one Wasteland in Jody's hand. Aaron fortunate enough to have started on a Basic Forest. This is only one on the list.
You can expect the lands player to wait for an Inkmoth Nexus to play Wasteland in a matchup like this.
Exploration. Cause for concern from Aaron, but it resolves. Ghost Quarter on Aaron's Basic. Yeah, he doesn't play another one. Says go. Noble Hierarch will make Brainstorm. He picked up a Wasteland. Does he have another land, though?
And this is an aggressive use of Brainstorm, though Barich really does have to, you know, make some land drops, and to get this game, he wants to close the game quickly because of the way that the lands deck can set up really aggressive locks with punishing fire life from the loam, but at the same time, it looks like he has Brainstorm locked himself here.
Jody is really only 1 life from the loam from making this look easy. Now his hand is all lands right now. Dark Depths.
Relatively common thing.
Yes, that's what the deck plays. Of course. Now notice he actually has more lands, but just didn't play any. For Aaron, Wasteland and makes Sylvan Library. That'll help unbrainstorm lock him.
Yeah, that's not bad. Certainly a matchup where you can pay a decent amount of life as well.
Jody will just Ghost Quarter away that Wasteland. He's got another Wasteland in hand just for when Aaron plays another land.
There's been some buzz about lands incorporating Solemnity. Jody is playing the stock list. He's not doing anything like that. This is the matchup where that would really pay off. Because
oh goodness.
You can't be poisoned. The matchup is already pretty good for the lands deck.
Yeah.
But that is something worth considering. Not that Infect's a terribly popular Legacy deck.
Noble Hierarch will cast another Noble Hierarch. Aaron went down to 12, just took all the cards with the library. That's pretty safe here.
Yeah. If he's dying, it's to a 20/20. So 8 life is whatever.
Plays Tropical Island, says go. Aaron does have Force of Will blue card in his hand now. And Jody will just, he goes to Ghost Quarter, and Aaron will crop rotate in response. So heads up play. Gets Wooded Foothills. He's really trying to protect his mana sources.
Yeah, he wants to develop here. And you got to figure in most spots, if you just crop rotate for Ink Moth Nexus there, Jody's just going to destroy it.
Yeah, keep in mind, though, Aaron has a Become Immense in hand. It's not that far from having a 10-point poison swing. But you're right, another Wasteland here from Jody.
And with Become Immense, you might even see lethal from Noble Hierarch in this game, depending on how Jody's draws shape up.
Sure. Sylvan Live from Aaron. Surgical Extraction in the top 3. That's a big one. If he has Force of Will, blue card, Surgical, he stands a chance of getting rid of Life from the Loams, even if Jody top decks them.
Does a good job of messing with graveyard shenanigans, that's for sure. Notably, Jody is just Thespian stage away from making a 20/20 with that Dark Depths.
Yeah, I suppose Aaron did at one point have a Wasteland, but that's gone. So he doesn't have a way to stop the 20/20 if Jody finds the stage.
So yeah, Jody's draw has not been amounting to much. He's destroyed a lot of lands, but Barich's position looks fine here. Jody's really looking at the top of his deck.
Aaron's going to keep another Force of Will. So he went down to 8. Took 2 cards there. Maybe he'll make an Infector at some point here.
No need.
No, that's in. Oh, is he just going for a kill here?
It looks like it. If we have Become Immense Berserk, plus he's Invigorates.
Invigorate, Invigorate, Become Immense. Berserk. So the creature, so Noble Hierarch goes from 0 to 4 to
32 by my estimation.
Yeah, 4. So pumps to a 4, pumps to an 8. Become Immense to a 14, Exalts to a 16, Berserks to a 32, and Aaron had Force plus blue card backup. We're going to game 3.
Once you see an Invigorate on a non-infect creature,
oh, you're probably dead.
Yep, that's not a good sign.
When I give you 4 life to give my creature +4/+4, you're like, oh, something bad's happening. I don't know what it is. Either you're really bad or I'm dead.
There's no in between here.
Let's play. Oh boy. So Aaron evens things up over here in Legacy.
That was sweet.
That was sweet. Jody kept a 6-card hand on the back of Mox Diamond and Exploration. It looks like it had just those and nothing else.
Yeah, if Barich wasn't able to develop his mana, Jody did fire off some Ghost Quarters, Wasteland, but the Noble Hierarchs, the crop rotation to defend against one of the Wastelands, Barich really had no problem playing the game.
Yeah, so I mentioned Tom Ross, someone who likes to play 1-drops and turn them sideways. Not the only player in this match who likes that style. Aaron Barich, from similar style player, the younger here, from Gulfport, Mississippi, 5 open top 8s, including an open win at the Dallas Open. Streams games on Twitch at DieFi00. On top of that, we've seen him for a long time here. Really be into 3-color pump spell decks. Kind of talking about like Blossoming Defense is kind of like the Aaron Barich Invitational card when they printed it. He's playing it in Legacy here too. He played it in basically all his standard decks, his modern decks.
He loves attacking.
Yeah, and it's a very certain style of attacking too. It's not, it's. I don't know how to put it other than like Blossoming Defense is really his style.
Yes. Really big on combat tricks.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times a lot of 3-color aggro with combat tricks. Kind of like.
He likes to develop a large stack in the middle of the combat step.
Yeah. And you see Infect becoming a better deck. A lot of it thanks to Tom Ross, but Aaron Barich certainly someone who benefited a lot from that.
Yes.
So he evens things up in Legacy. In Modern, it's still game 2 for Todd Stevens and Emma Handy. Emma having won the first game.
And those matchups can be a drawn-out affair. That is for sure. Any matchup against Lantern Control.
Yeah, so there was a quick 2-0 in Standard, Tom Ross defeating JD and Klomparens. But the second match win looks to be trickier for their team.
Yes. And Barich will be on the draw for game 3 here. Makes it a bit tougher to get things going with your Noble Hierarchs and your Infect threat against a deck that's heavy on Wasteland. Ghost Quarter against his 1 basic deck. Gives Jody a little bit more time to set up Punishing Fire as well. You know, Barich won't have the mana advantage to fight over that on the stack. So some obstacles to overcome here for sure for the team.
Well, Jody will be back on the play game number 3. Aaron's going to hope to dodge some of those fast lands draws. There's some, the top percentage of lands draws are pretty tough to beat. On StarCityGames.com, we have a Star City Games weekly sale, something different on sale from the store every weekend. This week we've been selling 20% off select full art basic lands. A lot of those ones, Unhinged, Unglued, original Zendikar, Battle for Zendikar, and now Amonkhet, where you can get them. Find those on the store at StarCityGames.com/weekly sale. That one's going to be going on all weekend. And then check in next Monday when we have a new sale next week.
A lot of sweet ones here. I personally have the Bolus Horn lands for the Grixis Cube. It's been a nice addition there for the aesthetic, for sure. I'm excited to see what we see for lands out of the new Unset as well.
Yeah, I play full arts too. These are just great. Yeah. Well, so you can get these lands. You can also watch Jody Keith playing lands that aren't these lands. Because he's going to play better ones.
He's got some forests.
A forest.
They both have 1 forest.
I actually played lands at a tournament. The question is, what forest do you use in your lands deck? I used a real crappy one. I just
find the first 6th edition.
Yeah, it was just like Kaladesh.
Ooh, that's a good touch.
Yeah,
you could certainly do
like,
worse.
Wow, the rest of your lands are really expensive. It's like, yeah, it's a Kaladesh forest.
Land box really pulled through for me this morning. Showed up with 74 cards.
Played this. I'm like, I don't know, that's the one I had.
It was supposed to be a spell. I blanked.
Don't even pick like the art. You know, just don't take time selecting which art. It's whichever one you grabbed.
I don't have a favorite. I believe that like there's 4 different lands in every set.
Yep.
Whichever Kaladesh one you get.
This game will be Barich on the mulligan. You have to be concerned that Joe D kept 7.
Yes. That's a bad sign for the lands deck. It's a deck that mulligans a decent amount. You know, obviously it's game 3. He knows the matchup. He knows what matters in the matchup. He's a seasoned lands pilot. That's scary stuff. Jody actually on 6 here. Look like a square to the bottom.
Okay. We'll start with a Sphere of Resistance from Jody Keith.
Yeah, Ancient
Off
Tomb.
Ancient Tomb.
That's some spice.
One of Ancient Tomb, yeah. That costs more. Aaron's going to play Glistener Elf, then decides not to.
Yeah, Aaron thinking that's a Thorn of Amethyst. That one only charges more on non-creatures.
Now Jody will just start using Wastelands.
And that's going to be a lot more powerful here than it was in game 2.
Yeah, Aaron knows no other land. Uh-oh.
Frequently takes the lands deck a little bit of time to actually set up a kill, but Barich is up to nothing.
Exploration, cast from Jody.
And Barich discarding for turn.
Would not has Noble Hierarch in hand. He'll need to top deck 2 lands. Double Exploration for Jody. He's not really doing anything in the meantime.
And his hand is Tabernacle, Drop of Honey, Punishing Fire. Plenty of answers to creatures, but not a lot else going on.
Looks like Vault of the... No, that's Thespian Stage. Thespian Stage. Vault of the...
That one doesn't quite make the cut here.
No. That doesn't make sense. Not stage.
He's got Barbarian Ring and Thespian Stage here. He's going to copy his Sheltered Thicket to fix his mana a little bit with the Thespian Stage.
Sure. Okay, two red-green duels. Looks like he actually copied the Barbarian Ring.
Sure. Still makes more red mana.
And he's going to discard Blighted Agent.
And Barich making some land drops.
Yeah, the difficulty will be if he can actually stick a creature on this board. With Drop of Honey, Punishing Fire, I'm not sure how he will.
It's going to be tough. And he's got a ton of cards in hand. Looks like they're mostly green, though. So tough to force a will, at least too many things. Punishing Fire, not an ideal card to force a will in the first place.
Aaron's worried here about cracking those fetch lands for... Could get wastelanded back. Ooh. And here's Grove of the Burn Willows from Jody. That's going to go really well with this Punishing Fire.
Now Barich needs creatures, wasteland. He needs a lot to win from this point.
Yeah, he needs to start by wastelanding that Grove of the Burn Willows.
Yeah. He hasn't seen the Punishing Fire yet.
It looks like he was looking for an end step Brainstorm.
Considering it. When you have to pay 2 for Brainstorm, it's a little tough to convert.
Yeah. Well, Aaron's going to have to convert here. On the Modern matchup, Todd Stevens takes the first sideboarded game, so he and Emma Handy will go to game 3. But all eyes are, I think, on the Legacy match at this point.
There's actually a pretty interesting fetch decision there. Barich went with Tropical Island Basic Forest.
Okay.
The screen mana technically insulates him a little bit against Wasteland, but it makes it so Jody Keith's Ghost Quarters are just strip mines. It's just the one basic in the deck.
And Aaron off the Brainstorm does not find any more lands.
As long as he doesn't get his lands destroyed, that's fine. But he's going to need to be able to cast a lot of spells, and the Sphere of Resistance makes that difficult.
Yeah, now he did pick up a Surgical Extraction, so that's a way he can fight the war, I suppose, over this Punishing Fire. Except there's a thing. I think Jody's really good at lands. There's a play on board here where Jody can fight back.
Yeah, once you stage the Copy of the Grove, it's really tough to be able to stop your land's opponent from just triggering the Grove in response to Surgical.
Right, so he'll always use one of the Grove of the Burn Willows to get back the Punishing Fire, and then leave the second one up to rescue it from what might be a Surgical Extraction.
Surgical also costs some full mana because of the Sphere.
Okay, yeah, Aaron actually has to pay mana for it, right.
And Barich he's got to cast spells to get in this game. He has nothing going on right now. And Barich isn't even going to mess around with that. Just main phase here, paying a mana and 2 life to Surgical on Jody's Wasteland.
Wow. All right, so that'll happen. Drop of Honey, Punishing Fire, Tabernacle.
It's an expensive hand. Mana-wise, it's very lean.
Oh, okay. I was going to be like, oh, it's like dollar-wise?
Dollar-wise, that'll break the bank.
You could always just play Periphery Nodes.
Well, when you move to Solemnity, that opens up all these roads for the budget build of the deck.
There you go. And searches through, grabs the Wastelands. So Wastelands will be gone. Aaron's free to develop his mana.
Unless Ghost Quarter shows up.
Right. And Ghost Quarter is actually better than Wasteland in this matchup. Aaron only plays 1 basic land, and you see it right there on the table. And then Jody draws Ghost Quarter.
That was a good pickup.
Ugh.
Yeah,
That was exactly what Aaron didn't want to have happen.
and Barich, he fetched around Wasteland, got
Yeah.
punished by Ghost Quarter.
And he was hoping to find more lands with this Ponder. Yeah.
Now Jody should have plenty of time.
Yeah, Aaron just keeps discarding cards. Discards the Ponder. Just says, I'm just gonna try to top deck lands the regular way.
Jody presenting another Thespian stage. Plenty of Grove of the Burn Willows if he wants them now.
All stages are set to Grove of the Burn Willows now. And Jody will start cycling. Can even start using this Punishing Fire to chip at Aaron's life total.
And Cycled Thicket, Tranquil Thicket found life from the loam.
Okay. Now he'll dredge that.
When it does Ghost Quarter right back.
Yep. Takes Aaron's last land. So every turn we're going to have Ghost Quarter, Life from the Loam. With Sphere of Resistance in play, that should be a lock. Jody can every turn destroy Aaron's land. Aaron will never be able to cast a spell because one land doesn't cast anything.
Right. Barich found Wooded Foothills as his land here. So Jody, unless he finds another Ghost Quarter, he can't just double quarter.
Yeah.
So this might give Barich a window to cast one spell, but Jody has that well covered with all this removal here. This looks a lot like a hard lock.
Yeah, cycles Tranquil Thicket. Aaron's going to play at least to that. And Loam gets 3 back. Dark Depths on one of them. We now have Depths and Stage set up.
That should close the game in a short order. Ghost Quarter back again.
Yeah, and Aaron's going to pick it up. So that will be the game, match, and round. Jody Keith, Todd Stevens, and Tom Ross are your winners.
And from the get-go, lands is going to make it really tough on Infect. A lot of things have to go right for the Infect player, and Jody with the turn 1 Sphere of Resistance makes it so hard for the Infect deck to even play.
Yeah, now Jody did mulligan. I mean,